Hi, I'm Simon Rushton and this is Taxi Chronicles Podcast. On this podcast, we spontaneously interview unsuspecting passengers with their permission, allowing them to share their intimate life stories and concerns. As our slogan states, real riders, real stories. Some riders prefer to be anonymous, while others ask me to tell their story later on. Either way, there are all genuine 5 to 10 minutes stories, so sit back and enjoy this episode. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider, the lovely lady, all the way from Pakistan, Delrina. Oh, sorry, my mistake.
It's alright, I have a hard name.
I picked her up this morning, or today, and she's just had laser eye surgery. She's a student, and she's going on a student in what I love also, history. So first of all, we'll talk about her laser eye surgery and see the education and just see how the conversation flows. We've got 33 minutes as usual. It doesn't have to be that long. We just let the conversation flow and see how it goes. Nice to have you here.
Likewise.
Okay, so tell me, why did you need the eye surgery? What happened?
So I got my glasses first when I was in grade 5th. So it's been quite a while that I haven't really gotten used to me seeing without my glasses. So my parents were quite persistent that, you know what, just get your eyes fixed now. And yeah, I got it done after like 5 years of contemplation, going back and forth, should I get it, should I not get it? And I just got forward with it, yeah.
What age is grade 5th?
I think it should be 7, 8.
You're 7, so from 7 years old you've been wearing glasses?
Yeah, perpetually.
And has your eyesight been deteriorating over that time?
Yes. So I started when my eyesight was 1.75 inch and it went up to 3.75. So I just had to wear my glasses throughout.
So basically the points indicate how bad your eyesight is?
Yep.
So the higher the worse?
The higher the worse.
Okay. So can I ask you, was it a case that like at night you found you needed to wear glasses, but in the day you were okay?
No, I just had to wear my glasses all along. Just when I'm asleep, I take them off.
Oh, so you didn't need them?
So I just need them if I'm awake or doing anything at all, yeah.
Why I ask is when I'm driving, and if I've been driving for a long time and it's night time now and I start to get tired, I need to wear glasses to see the screen clearly.
Right, yeah.
So I was thinking, but I don't want to go through what you went through.
It wasn't that pleasant. I won't lie to you.
So do you want to explain to the listeners what happened?
So I had my consultation on Tuesday and they checked if all was right with my eyes, so if I'm eligible to actually go forward with the LASIK eye surgery. So that was for 2 hours. They did a few tests, they ran my blood test, everything was fine. So the next day, Wednesday, they booked me in for my LASIK surgery. And they, from what I know, and they were explaining it to me, they put anesthetic drops first so that I don't feel much sensation in my eyes. Then they did these little tiny incisions around my eye, around my pupils, and they took off the layer that was damaged, which caused my vision to be, of course, weak. And then I don't know what they did next, but then they put this protective lens so that my eyes don't get damaged when I walk out of the surgery. And today they just removed that.
So that was like an hour, like going to the dentist, that kind of time?
No, actually it took like 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, just 20 minutes. 10 minutes each eye.
So, and the problem was that there's a film or something building up across your eye then, which made
Yeah, if you want to see, you'll see these red spots.
Yeah.
These are the incisions.
So they put needles in your eyeballs?
Yeah, basically. I needed you to see
so
that.
When they
I wanted to freak you out.
When they put needles in your eyeballs, you were awake?
Yeah, I was awake. I was moving my legs and they were telling me I'm doing amazing and I should stop moving. And then the doctor accidentally said, don't screw this up for me.
Okay.
Because I was moving too much.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose. I suppose when he says really don't screw it up for him, he's really saying, do you want to go blind?
Exactly, basically. So he was finding the most polite words and he said screw up, and then he corrected himself, and I was like, you know what, fair enough.
So,
you're inside my eyes, I should not mess with you at all.
Yeah, you should do what you're told.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
It was just that I was freaking out because I could see something going inside my eye, which wasn't, because my eyes were open, of course. So it was just a bit overwhelming, I'd say.
Yeah, okay. And so what happens now? Do you have to go back there again?
So this was my follow-up checkup. So now I have to go back after 3 months if all is right. Of course, if something goes wrong, then I go back in. But hopefully, so what I have to do for now is I have to put these 3 different drops after every 1 hour, which was 15 minutes for yesterday. But now every 1 hour I have to put 3-4 drops.
What are the drops? Are they just lubrication?
Lubricants, yep.
Okay.
Lubricants and antibiotics and anti-inflammatory drops, and this one is for the soothing gel for the outside of the eye.
So the anti-inflammatory is to stop your eyeballs going big?
I think I don't know what it's for actually.
You should ask.
I asked them quite a few questions, but
no, I would ask. When they give me pills, I always ask them, what's it for? And do I really need it?
I just ask it in the extent that if I miss it, it's going to be dangerous or not. They say it's fine, but ideally, so you should just put these in for the next 3-4 days.
Oh, yeah.
And this goes up to 4 weeks actually. So after 3 weeks, I just have to put them once a day. So 4 weeks, I guess after 4 weeks, I can just treat my eyes as normal eyes. Right now, I'm just, treating them very well.
Yeah, I understand. So you're a history student?
Yes, I am specializing in the history of South Asia and the Middle East. And I'm just finishing up my master's, trying to get around my thesis for now.
So what made you choose those subjects?
Well, I did my undergrad in politics. So the politics course was divided in politics, contemporary, and the political science part of things. So the political science and the ideologies and the history side of things got me interested in that. So if I had to choose, I had to do my master's anyway, so I just chose history for that purpose. Let's see what's next. But I think next is, because I got into history, now I'm leaning towards anthropology next, which is the study of humans and field works and just interviewing people, traveling around and studying different societies, different cultures, different religions.
So you got 2 degrees?
I got a degree and then I chose a major within the degree. So as a historian, you have to choose your field, right? So archaeology, anthropology, these different sectors, line of work. So I chose anthropology.
So are you going to go back to India and become an archaeologist?
I'm from Pakistan.
Oh, sorry, Pakistan. My mistake. Sorry.
From Pakistan, but not anytime soon. But I would ideally want to go back to Pakistan and study these different cultures in these rural areas, whereas Pakistanis, we haven't gone around because of different circumstances. So I would want to do that. Yes, of course.
But you said you studied politics.
For my undergrad, yep.
So that kind of makes you feel that there's an element of you that's interested in becoming a politician.
Yeah, coming from a family with a political background.
They're all political background.
Yeah, so I got into politics for a bit, but yeah, I would want to do that even if
Or you want to live a life first.
But I want to live my life first. Exactly. Yes.
But your parents are your parents both in politics or just your dad?
Just my dad.
And does he know that you're interested in politics?
Yes, he knows. I think I'm the only child who he knew was into that part of it, because my sister, she's a lawyer, and my brother, he's a financial economist. So no one chose this side. No one chose the humanities aspect of it.
So your dad, he's going to guide you into politics later on then?
I hope so. He's a bit hesitant being a woman from Pakistan,
politics or like people who get angry?
It's just people who get angry, who can't handle your controversial opinions, I guess. So he's just very careful about me and of course protective.
So if you was going to be a politician and you could change anything, what would you change? What's the first thing that comes to mind?
The first thing, intolerance in Pakistan, religious intolerance. I would definitely want to do something about that.
So when you say religious intolerance, do you want to be a bit more specific?
So Pakistan is a relatively new country, 70 years old just. So we have all these sects and different religions, of course, but religious part of things, like we've been so intolerant towards these minorities that it just shows, and it's one of those to be politically incorrect. It's one of those perceptions of Pakistan where you're hesitant about going there, but there is a bit of truth there as well, because being a Sunni, do you understand different sects of Pakistan?
Sunni and Shia.
Yeah, so there's Ahmadis, and they're like, if I'm not wrong, there are like 62 sects within Islam.
Okay.
So we don't even know more than 8 or 9 of them, but it's just that they have to hide so well because people are so intolerant. And even we have like 9% Jews in Pakistan as well, but no one would know about them because of how intolerant and aggressive people get. So these things, I think Pakistan should become a country where the minorities feel safe, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But ideally, so if I was to bring a change, it would be the intolerance part of it, because religion is so personal. I don't think it's anyone's problem. I don't know how we have religion as this. It's like within our constitution, we don't recognize so much that it just makes it so not impersonal. Actually, it becomes everyone's problem, and I don't see how that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, so we kill people in the name of religion, and it's supposed to be a religion of peace. So and it's a beautiful religion. It's just the people destroying it day by day.
Yeah, I hear you. So you spoke of the Jewish people. Are they the black Jews or the white Jews that are there?
I think they're South Asian Jews, if you believe me. I think Middle Eastern South Asian Jews, from what I know from the study that I've done. But they don't come out. It's just that they stay within.
Do they have a synagogue and everything? Or?
Yeah, they do.
They do, but they're in a little community,
exactly.
a village community.
You're not going to be able to tell it's a synagogue, right?
But you'll be surprised, in Afghanistan they have Jews.
Exactly, they're Jews.
Do you know about that? They have Jews, because when I was in Afghanistan, I was talking to the interpreter, and I said, how comes they're not dead? And he said, well, it's not like that. In that respect.
It's just that's what you think from afar, but like within the community, I'm sure like wherever they have their societies, right? People over there around them, they must be very tolerant, but it's just that the people around I don't see the point of them not being able to say that they're here and just travel around, because people, Yehudis, the word has so much weightage. It's so strong within the community that as humor as well, and of course like it just gets serious as well. So giving them the space to talk and free speech, that would go a long way, I suppose.
Are Pakistanis Sunni or Shiites?
Mostly, majority is Sunni.
What's Iran?
Iran is Shia, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, Iran is definitely Shia.
Okay. All right.
Because they have these, I think, Karbala is there, if I'm not wrong. I don't know much, but they have these majlises, this Muharram. People travel a lot to Iran for that. So yes, Shia.
All right.
Shia majority.
Okay. What I was going to say, how did you find the move into England? What was the hardest thing, or the strangest thing, I should say, that you had to get used to, accustomed to?
So I moved to England around 6 years ago now, and the strangest thing, I'd say, we come from this country and being this privileged upper middle class. You have everything going for you. You have your cars, you have your house help, you have your parents looking after you. You don't do much. So over here, the feeling of independence in a different way, like you have to do everything yourself. It comes with positives and negatives, but mostly positives. That was a bit strange. Like, you're on your own, and you have to get around on your own. You have to make up your own mind about things. You don't have to rely on anyone. So it just develops your character in many ways that you don't see.
in many respects, England's a sign of what a Pakistan would be like if the wealth was more equal.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you wouldn't have that privilege of having a houseboy, a house girl,
Exactly.
a
So
cook, and all these
if
things.
we get over the colonial hangover, I think we'd go a long way. Yeah. But England, I think it's also coming from Pakistan, it also feels like a second home. You'd see a lot of people saying that. I don't know what it is about London that it just within a few years you'd actually use the word second home for it.
Yeah, well, I suppose a lot of people I interview, they actually say they feel that London's very tolerant, and most of the people who say that to me are actually from Europe, or actually
right.
from places like Greece, Italy, Spain.
Right.
Those are obviously strong Catholic countries. I'm not sure about Greece, sorry, but Spain and Italy are strong Catholic countries.
Right.
And a lot of people say, well, you can just be yourself and dress how you want to dress, and no one cares.
Right.
But where they come from, you do anything out of line, whether they're in a rural village or in the city, in Barcelona or Florence.
You're held accountable.
Yeah, people. The community is like, why are you doing this? What? No, we don't do this.
It's similar to that in Pakistan, but I guess, of course, you feel like a significant change when you come to a city like London, where you don't even get to see a lot of one identity. It's so diverse. You get to interact with people from all around the world, especially being a student here. You study and you talk to people from all around the world, and you see how similar you are, how similar we are in an extent, and how different we are if you want to see it on a nationalistic level. But if you get over the nationalistic part of your identity, I think we're all the same. That's what I've realized.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You just need like a very stable environment, or like I think London makes up for the stable environment part of it. But it's just like it's on the middle spectrum, not too extreme about anything at all. So that just works well for everyone.
Yeah. So what do you miss about Pakistan?
My family. If I have to miss anything, it would be my family and my friends. That's about it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you bring my family and my friends over here, I don't see.
So you don't miss the weather?
The weather? No, I'm fine, because it gets too hot over there, and it's just
really. You think it's too hot?
Yeah, over here it's fine. I don't mind the British weather.
I love the heat.
I'd complain about it all day, but I know within this is way better than what we have over there.
That's interesting, because I love the heat.
Right, of course.
I think the heat's so.
But you wouldn't like the heat if you have no electricity and no water over there.
No, I don't mind, because I used to live in Kenya. On the coast, which is Mombasa, and it's really, really hot. It's like my son, he's quite light, but he's got a lot darker recently from the sun. He lives there. And you've got a sea breeze, you've got the sea, you can go and chill in. Do you see what I mean? You've got lots of things you can do where you're okay. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
In that respect.
I get that, but like you have to take into consideration that it's just not the weather. Like, even if you have like the most ideal weather, but your country is not too flexible around this one sect or this one gender, and as a Pakistani woman, you're like a second-class citizen over there. You don't get to enjoy the weather much. Of course, like the men over there would be able to do much more if you have like for example, you have a sunny day or like a rainy day over there, which is rare. But as a woman, you have a lot of restrictions. You can't walk down a road without having these different scary thoughts. So these things just.
So what are the restrictions? That's interesting, actually.
It's not like a restriction on any other level. It's just that the society makes it so difficult for women to just do normal stuff, like just walk down a road or go for a run. If a woman is running down a road, she is definitely asking for it. So these things are a bit strange.
When you say asking for it,
harassment, right? Harassment, or just being made to feel that you're doing something something very odd and very strange. So these things, we, of course, like, I understand that we're trying to get around our identity and trying to fight all these extremist thoughts or whatever is going on there, but at some points the society has to change before anything else.
Well, is it? Yeah, I'm thinking, is it a case that a generation has to die out?
Definitely a generation has to die out.
Because that seems to be the problem throughout the world in a lot of cases, where you've got, let's say, progress. I look at the continent of Africa, especially sub-Saharan Africa, where the older leaders need to move on.
Right.
You've got some good ones, but you've got, sadly, more than your fair share of bad ones.
Yeah, right.
But it's also a mindset of a generation.
Definitely so.
So
I think
when they die out, hopefully we can start afresh with new, educated people who can look at this society and say, we are going to follow, or we're going to take a leaf out of some Western books, not all of them, because I don't believe everything.
You don't even have to take a leaf out of Western books, right? You just have to be able to recognize how your society works, how you, as a South Asian country, and your own leaders, you just have to develop your own identity without this Western colonial hangover that resides over these leaders that you're talking about, the old ones, because that's what they try to do within spheres of how well it serves them, not their people that they're responsible for. So in my opinion, I don't think we have to follow anything the Western world does, because if you think about it, we're our own, in hindsight, our own laggings are because we follow these Western colonial countries, which were back then when they were ruling over us, and we haven't really developed according to how they've done. So you just have to recognize your own country, your own culture, your own society, your own mindsets, and then see how well you can treat and serve them, and bring upon a change according to that. I just think it just gets worse if you try to put this one remedy and you don't know what you're trying to treat, right?
Yeah, I understand. So tell me, as a historian,
right,
who is your favorite leader?
My favorite leader as a historian, I have quite a few. So Mao, studying Mao was very interesting. He brought about this revolutionary change, of course.
A bit louder.
Mao from China. He's one of those revolutionary leaders that you always respect for many, many reasons. Then there's Jamal Nasser from Palestine.
What reasons for Mao?
Mao being this, so obviously there's this recurring joke within historians that if you're a Marxist or a Maoist, these, how do I explain it? Well, let me see, because just the other day we were all hanging out, and this friend of mine who's a really huge Maoist, he just played the anthem for him, and he didn't really understand what he was saying there, but the thing is that he understood what China needed then, right? Even though they say that civil disobedience is one of those things where you just have to frown upon, but he actually did it in a very revolutionary way. No one had done the march that he did. A lot of lives were taken, a lot of losses were taken, but at that point in time, Mao made the decision by being one of the people, not acting or treating as a leader. So that, I think, that was something that you really have to respect him for.
Okay, I hear. And your other leader?
Jamal Nasser, I think I respect him for different reasons, because he even recognized that for Egypt, you needed a rebellion rather than just be doing what the Western world of back then wanted. The British and the French were the most involved back then, and the Americans. So he tried to do what he could, but then the wars happened, everything went down. But I think he was one of the strongest leaders coming out of the Middle East.
Was he the one who took the Suez Canal back?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. on top of my mind right now. These are the two I can think of. These are the two that I can think of on top of my mind as we speak right now. So yeah.
And if you could sit down with your favourite leader, what's the one question you would ask him?
I'd ask them why. I'd ask them why do they care this much? How come they don't give up like everyone else does? Like, how are they so bothered by it? I'd definitely ask them why.
Do you think you have that nature?
Yeah, and that's what scares me. Like, you have to be very idealistic for something like this, to have these recurring thoughts where you want to do something, be it for selfless or selfish reasons, because obviously if you want to do something, you want to be remembered for more than what you are presently. So I think I definitely asked them why and how did they believe in themselves so much? How did they believe that they would be able to make at least some kind of change within and get where they want to for that? So yeah, I think
I understand. So what's the future for you then? What do you see the future for you?
I'd be able to answer it better before this year started, but now I'm just taking it 2 months at a time. So let's just see if there is a future.
What was the future for you prior to the COVID?
Prior to the COVID, I actually had to go to Nigeria in April for my fieldwork. So my professor applied for my funding. So we were gonna go and study Chrislam and the community that Chrislam is this Christian and Islam Muslim and Christian community who made up this religion. It's called Chrislam. So I was gonna do that. So I would have like an insight into how my life would look like as an anthropologist. So yeah, that I didn't get to do that for obvious reasons. So now I don't know. Let's see what happens next when I'll be able to get a gig within anthropology, because traveling is not an option for now. Like, you can't travel and live with the community for more than like 6 months, half a year. That's a bit of a challenge now. Let's see what happens now. I'm just looking for jobs, trying to finish up my dissertation.
Is there any routes that you've taken, any decisions you've taken regarding your career where you think, I wouldn't have taken that route?
I wouldn't have taken that route?
Yeah, so if you've made your career decisions regarding education, things like that, is there anything you've studied or you thought, I shouldn't have done this course, it wasn't for me?
Surprisingly, no. Never. I've not regretted a single decision I've made academically or professionally for now, until now. I think everything had to contribute to something that made my mind towards, like, that made me inclined towards more of what I want to do. So none of my decisions that I thought, like, no, this isn't for me, I made the wrong choice.
Is that based on you as an individual or your family support helping you with the question?
I think it was my family's support, because the careers that I've chosen and the education fields that I've chosen, they're not the most mainstream. Like, for my father to be so supportive and financially and otherwise, I think that was one of the things that got me where I am right now, because choosing career fields back at home, they're more of like mainstream, like, oh, you have to become a doctor, or you have to become a lawyer, or you have to do something within your father's business, right? So going up to my dad and saying, you know what, Dad, I want to become a historian, that was a bit of a challenge, but he handled it very, very well. He was like, you do whatever you have to do. So I think my family support, that's number one thing.
Has your dad studied in England as well?
No, back at home.
Okay. So last but not least, what's the impact you want to have in the world?
Impact, I think just for the world to be convinced that you don't have to put too much pressure on yourselves in any way except be a decent human being. We take religion too seriously, we take the world too seriously, we take different things very, very seriously, where it becomes toxic. So just don't have a toxic relationship with anything in the world except just be a decent human being and live the life, the one life you have. You don't know what's coming next. We're not so sure about anything else other than that you are living. That's the only certainty you have as of now. So just do that. Be civil, be decent.
Okay, that's good. Well, thanks. One last question. I know I did say that was the last question. Is we spoke about change. We spoke about the old people dying out and the new order coming in.
Yeah.
Certain things, we have a saying in Jamaica, blood follow veins. The chip doesn't fly far from the block.
Right.
So if you have the older generation, let's say on a gender case where you said they feel if you're going for a jog or you're walking down the street and you're not escorted or something, that you're asking for trouble, to put it nicely. Do you think the new generation of a Pakistanis young men will think differently, or do you feel that it's going to be the same thing, just different faces?
I think it's going to be different. Optimistically, I think majority of them will be different, but there always this one part who is influenced by these crooks, right? But I just hope that the majority overweigh the bad side, the leftovers left of the old generations, and whoever think of these things in a more problematic way. So I just hope. I think the next generation is going to be very different. I have my hopes for that.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. We wish you well in your historical studies.
Thank you for making this car ride so interesting.
Okay, that's good. That's good. We hope you liked that episode. Keeping in mind, we never know who we are going to interview. We post twice a day, 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. GMT. Have you ever considered the future economies to invest in? Why not listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories? Considering Africa has the fastest growing economies and population on Earth, and has done for many years, it holds 30% of the world's known natural resources. We publish twice a week, Tuesday with a guest investor and Fridays talking about investment, politics and history, providing a clear understanding for any potential investor.